Magic Time. This is Thomas, back at you recording in the Stag's Leap District. And I'm in this beautiful vineyard on the side of the road. It's a little bit loud, so I'm going to speak as loud as I possibly can. It's right off the Silverado Trail. I wanted to talk today about visiting wine country and a few tips that you might use when you're planning your trip. Now, the first tip that I would say is when you're planning your Napa Valley trip, plan it according to, and your appointments at the wineries according to district, or what I'm trying to say is stay close in your appointments. Doesn't make sense to book something way out in St. Helena or way up on Howe Mountain, and then something way down in Carneros, and then way out in Yountville. It doesn't make sense to have your geographical locations for your day or your appointments set up all around the place. If you're doing a multiple day trip, 2, 3, 4 days, plan in accordance through geography first. Maybe for your first day, do all the wineries in Stag's Leap District that you love. Maybe on your second day, go up to Howe Mountain and visit 2 or 3, maybe 4 wineries up on Howe Mountain. Do it in accordance to that, and I can promise you your trip will be so much more streamlined. I've had times where 15 years ago when I first started coming to wine country where I would bounce around all over the place, and it made for me being late to appointments all the time. It made for a really discombobulated experience. And never do one appointment in Sonoma and one in Napa and then back in Sonoma. If you're staying in Sonoma County, do your wine trip in Sonoma County. Or spend an entire day in Sonoma, an entire day in Napa, but never switch it up like that. Geography will ruin your whole trip. The second tip to a successful wine country trip is think about your lodging and where you're going to stay. Don't spend all your money on lodging. You're not going to be inside of your hotel. You're going to be going to wineries, you're going to be going out to dinner, and the only time you're going to see your actual hotel is going to be in the evening when you put your head down to rest. So don't waste a bunch of money staying at $1,500 night room at Meadowood or Alberge. Love those places, and those are resorts. If you want to do the resort thing and stay at the resort and enjoy the amenities, God bless you, go ahead and do that. But if you're wanting to enjoy wine country and be at wineries and go golfing and go eat at fine dining restaurants, don't spend your money on the room, spend your money on that. So that's my second tip. My third tip, of course, is safety. And when you're out here in the Napa Valley going winery to winery, it's very important because they're going to give you a lot of wine, and they pretty much always overpour you the amount that they're supposed to. And they bonus you on a bunch of extra wines at the end of the tasting. Get transportation. Get a chauffeur, Uber, and do your best to stay safe. That's a very important thing to a successful wine trip. First thing that could ruin your wine trip is getting a DUI, and then your trip is over. So be safe. Another important tip, I think, is to choose wineries that you want to go to where you like the wine. For example, if you're a big Cabernet fan, stay here in the Napa Valley. Be here in Stag's Leap District. Go up to Howe Mountain. Go up to Spring Mountain. Go to Oakville, where Cabernet is king. If you love Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, plan your trip around those 2 grape varieties. Be in the South Valley down in Carneros, or plan your trip over in Sonoma County and do the Russian River Valley or the Sonoma Coast regions. So plan your trip around the wineries in which you actually love the wine and you love that type of wine. If you like sweet wine, then plan your wine trip around going to visit wineries that actually have sweet wine, maybe like Prager, which is a kind of a dessert port wine winery. That would be my other tip. One thing I can attest to is that wineries have become a little bit different these days. Wineries are kind of like going to a restaurant or going to a bar. They have low-paid people that are pouring you wine and giving you their heart and telling you the story. Tip them. Give them a tip after your tasting. It's almost expected. In fact, most of the companies these days, most of the wineries actually have a tip line. Don't be surprised by it. It's not a gouge. It's that they're trying to allow people that have wine knowledge and pour wine for a living to actually live here and be able to afford to live here in Napa Valley, which is very expensive. There's 700 wineries and there's very small workforce here. So tip your people and be generous. One of the great things about Napa is the climate here. It's incredibly Mediterranean. It's warm during the day, and you're going to need to dress for the occasion. You're going to need warm weather clothing, short sleeves, shorts if you want to stay cool. but come 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, it's going to dip about 30 to 40 degrees. We have this huge diurnal shift in temperature. So bring a coat, just like when you go to San Francisco in the summer, you got to bring a coat along with you. It gets nice and cold at night. Now let's talk fashion. Napa Valley is not a place where you're going to want to overdress. It's business. It's not business. What it is it's Napa casual. So if you come here dressed in a fancy dress or in a suit and tie or overly fancy clothes, people will treat you like you're not from here or you don't know what you're doing. So definitely dress for the occasion. If you're a man, you can wear a button-up shirt, that's fine. Wear some slacks, wear some jeans. Don't get over formal. It's very important that you kind of like blend in and mix with everyone. I've worked in tasting rooms for years, and I can tell you, the first thing people do when you walk in a tasting room, the staff, they'll immediately know where you're from. Whether you're from Miami, whether you're from LA, whether you're from New York or New Jersey, really easy to tell. So I would say dress super casual, relaxed, wine country casual, like you're going golfing or something. My final recommendation would be to give yourself some downtime. Don't pack your day full of 6, 7 appointments. I think that the best way to do it is 2 to 3. Do an appointment at a winery at 10 a.m., do one at noon, go get something to eat, and then maybe hit one more in the afternoon. The worst thing you can do is slam yourself with 6 or 7 appointments. You're getting entirely inebriated the entire time. You don't have any time to go anywhere. You're late for your appointments. You feel rushed. Give yourself some downtime. In fact, if you're here for several days, give yourself a day where you don't have any appointments at all, and you can just cruise around and actually enjoy the scenery and be able to kind of take in the experience. So I would say definitely don't pack yourself too full when you come here. Have an itinerary, have a plan, that's fine, but don't do it too heavy.